it gives me great pleasure and great honor and a great privilege to introduce to you the Honorable Mayor of the city, George Vallejo.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Anna, for that very kind introduction. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to North Miami Beach, State of the City 2016. And by the way, I got a little secret for you. Tonight's event, the State of the City, for the first time ever, one of our city events is actually being streamed live on Facebook. So whether you're in North Miami Beach, whether you're in Ulita, or whether you're in London, England, you can be watching this. So if you're one of the technical types, feel free to go onto your Facebook and check in to NMB State of the City. And by the way, if you don't know how to do it, just find a 13-year-old and they'll gladly help you out. But guys, I'm really excited to be here tonight and be able to share with you what I think is a tremendous good news story, okay? Because the city of North Miami Beach, whether you look at, is experiencing progress everywhere. Whether you look at the roads, whether you look at the medians, policing, crime, new buildings, new restaurants, new entertainment options, everywhere you look, every corner of this city is experiencing a renaissance and a rebirth, the likes of which Dade County hasn't seen in a really long time. So that's the good news story. And that good news story is built really on 4 pillars. One of them is fiscal stability. The other one is a cleaner and more beautiful city. Third one is a safer city. And finally, the story of government done right. That's what I want to share with you tonight. And I want to start with when we talk about, we've spent a lot of time at the city council and the administration trying to figure out what are the goals, what is it that we need to accomplish in the city. And we've come up with this very detailed strategic plan that contains all of these goals and everything. And of course, part of it is, every organization in America, every company has a vision statement. And of course, we have a mission statement, okay? But that's not really the one that I think is the most important. I think what's the most important and what really has the city of North Miami Beach on the rise is this right here. The RISE standards, okay? And this is something that infuses every single person that wears an NMB pin or carries an NMB badge. Respect. Everybody here is treating everyone, whether it's a wealthy homeowner or whether it's a homeless man on the street, treating everybody with the human dignity and respect as if it was somebody in your family. Integrity. The kind of integrity that everybody wants, but also the integrity that when we find something wrong, we fix it. We're not looking to assess blame. We're not looking to figure out. We're looking to, as Anna said before, do it now and fix it. That's the integrity that we're talking about. Service. Everybody's mission here is how to help that customer, meaning our resident. What is it that they need? How do we get to yes? Not paperwork, but how do we get to yes? And then finally, excellence, of course, which is that mediocrity is no longer an option. Everything we touch, the standard is excellence. So when we did this, we came up with this big policy agenda with all of these priorities that were agreed upon, the things that needed to be worked on, and of course, even more of them that were done. But all of these are not just a talking point. And I'm going to go through tonight, I'm going to show you how every one of these things has been accomplished. And you see that's every employee here carries a badge and a key to get into the city. And one of the items that's here that everybody has is those RISE standards, and it's these top priority goals. Because these top priorities are on everybody's mind every single day when they come into the city. So let me talk a little bit about fiscally stable government. We all know that local governments have experienced a lot of challenges throughout the last years. Okay? The city of North Miami Beach was no different. we were experiencing a difficult situation, hemorrhaging cash. Some of our accounts had negative reserves, pension payments that were ballooning and starting to get out of control. These are the issues that had happened. And what happened? We ended up having a bond rating, the city's credit rating, get downgraded because of that. But, as I said before, we find something wrong, we fix it. Through taking bold action, making the tough decisions, but the right decisions for the residents and the employees of the city, we've been able to turn things around and turn negatives into big positives in the reserves, with the result being the city's credit rating was upgraded once again to where it needed to be. One of the other issues that we had to tackle, employee pensions. That's been the talk nationwide, right, about employee pensions. And this has been a very, very difficult issue to figure out and to get right. But I'm happy to say that with respect to our employees, our police employees, the city has been able to come to an agreement that fixes the employee pensions, which creates fiscal sustainability for our residents and our taxpayers, improves the administration, and most importantly, is fair and is something that is balanced for the needs of the taxpayers and what the city can afford and what the organization needs in order to be able to hire the best employees to serve the residents of our city. Doing more with less. This is very important because what we have found is that by making the smart and tough decisions that needed to be made, we have actually experienced something unusual in government, in that when you look at these budget statistics, you may see, and you'll see some things that have changed through time, but one of the ones that I wanted to key on is this one that says general fund, $45 million. And a lot of people would say, well, wait, the budget before was $1 million less. But you know what? The cost of what the number that's in that budget to actually produce the results that everybody sees every day actually was less this year than the year before through smart decisions, which means that we were able to take a significant chunk of those dollars and add them into reserves for the city. So, because of the smart decisions, the tough decisions, the decisions that need to be made, June 1st, I don't know if anyone saw this, but this came out in the Miami Herald. The city of North Miami Beach had the highest percentage increase in property value of all the municipalities in all of Dade County, right there. And you know what that says? What that says is that people believe and people want to be in the city of North Miami Beach because they find North Miami Beach is the desirable place to be, and of course it's reflected in the housing values, the business values, and everything else. Now, one thing is very important. When we look at this 16.6% increase, right? This is a good thing, but it also comes with a very big responsibility because this is taxpayers' money. And we have the awesome responsibility of making sure that we spend those tax dollars wisely, even better than we would spend our own dollars. But the good news is that because of this kind of an increase, we have some very good options that in front of us. One option is that we can take some of this new money and put it into important, needed capital investments for our city. Number two, you always need to save for a rainy day, right? Just like the assessed values can go up, they can always go down. So it would be very prudent for the city to set some of this money aside into the reserves for a rainy day fund. By the way, our reserves and rainy day fund are in fantastic shape and exceed the Government Finance Officers Association's recommendations. But you know what? What did we say before? Excellence is the only option, right? So we want to make sure that we are really in a sound position. Finally, the fact that we have this puts us in a position where we have not been in an awfully long time. This gives us the potential to be able to actually provide this year some relief to our taxpayers in the form of reduced tax millage rates. And by the way, this is all can be done providing the same exact services. This is all enhancement while we continue to make our housing better, our businesses better, our policing better, our public works, our roads, and everything better. So that's really a good news story there. Now, by the way, I want to send a quick thank you to our Director of Finance, Barbara Trinka, because for the 27th year in a row, the city earned the GFOA Excellence in Financial Reporting Award. So that's another outstanding thing. Let's talk about making the city cleaner and more beautiful. This is one of the biggest areas that people, of course, seek. Not many of you probably are looking at the budget book on a daily basis, but you are driving up and down the city streets and seeing this. One of the biggest challenges that we had in the city to be able to transform was we had a zoning code from 1958 for the most part. Well, the world has changed a lot. People's desires in housing and business choices have changed a lot. So we passed a unanimously passed a plan that targeted specific areas in the city to create those downtown corridors and those beautiful corridors that are called for in our strategic plan. This map here shows the 7 areas that we did. And so we passed it. Now, of course, the question that people say, well, so what's happened? Well, the first thing that's happened is that plan was so outstanding that it was recognized by the American Planning Association with its 2015 Award of Merit right there. And that, by the way, the man in the picture is one of the primary architects of this. That is our Community Development Director, Mr. Richard Lorber, who's out here somewhere. Richard, thank you. So now, but what about where the rubber meets the road? Has anything come in? Well, a dozen new projects have come in already since this thing was passed, transforming the look of the city and transforming the city in various parts of the city. Let me give you a few examples. This right here is, anybody knows this, on 164th Street. This is the old Winn-Dixie property on 164th Street behind the post office, which stood vacant in a vacant eyesore for decades. That is going to turn into a signature building designed by Arquitectonica Architects, signature building which is going to be residential with office and retail and cafes on the bottom, which is going to really liven up that street. So that's a tremendous hit. We have Highland Village, the Highlands. This is a beautiful new building under the new code at the entrance of Highland Village on the southern end of our city. Another spectacular newly designed building on the eastern end of our city, Aqua on the Bay. The Harbor, a beautiful new development happening just off of Biscayne Boulevard, just south, right where the Area 55 Brazilian restaurant is. Tremendous building. And of course, who cannot drive by and see this? This Marina Palms finally is almost ready to deliver the second set of units in the South Tower, which has been a tremendous game changer for the city. Soon you're going to see the sales building that's in the front get torn down, and you're going to have this beautiful panoramic view as you drive by, right down the marina through and seeing that beautiful view. Spectacular. We can't wait for that to happen. By the way, that's happening in a couple of weeks, I think. But the story is not just about building new buildings and new structures or whatever. It's also about preserving what we have. This picture here, this is Mall Lake. Many people recognize Mall Lake and know Mall Lake because for generations people have used that as one of the great recreation water bodies in our city. That body of water has been threatened for years with various schemes of development and fill it in and all kinds of, you name it, it's come here. This city council took it upon themselves. That was not zoned and that was threatened. This city council took it upon themselves to fix that, designated a conservation area, so that body of water, that beautiful body of water will be there for generations to come to enjoy. But it's not just about where we live, it's how we live, right? I picked theaters. Very first one in South Florida and the 11th one in the entire nation open in the Intracoastal Mall. That luxury theater is unbelievable and is drawing people from up to 40 miles away into our city to come visit it. These are the kind of choices that are coming. Plus, North Miami Beach has turned into quite the culinary destination. Whoops. Anybody recognize some of those names, right? We've got all kinds of options that, and we've become quite the foodie establishment, okay? But we are also recognized, all of South Florida, as the largest concentration of Asian American businesses, restaurants, and markets in all of South Florida. This is a new Asian market coming at 6th Avenue next door to the Toys R Us. You know what? People talk about Chinatown, this and that. North Miami Beach is the Chinatown already. This is a great shot. This is a rendering done by our planners of what the NMB of tomorrow will look like. Now, this is an NMB that's going to give choices for people to live. Single-family homes, townhouses, apartments, all sorts of choices. But this was by design, because if you look at that downtown central corridor, that is all planned and built, designed around the upcoming tri-rail stop that's going to be coming up along Biscayne Boulevard, and that's going to be stopping on 163rd and Biscayne Boulevard there. So the redevelopment and the new choices come with smart decisions centered around transit and mobility, because everybody wants to make sure that we can get around. Our CRA is doing its part. Our Community Redevelopment Agency, this is one of the other projects that's already coming out, that's going to be coming out of the ground soon. This is a brand new Cambria Hotel and Suites that's going to be on the corner of 163rd and 19th Avenue. Okay? Where that blue office building is now, that is going to be coming. That's going to be a tremendous hotel, the first one in North Miami Beach in anybody here's lifetime, okay? And that particular hotel is going to have rooftop amenities, rooftop lounge, and that has attracted a partnership with television star and celebrity chef Ralph Pagano is going to be coming to North Miami Beach. This mixed-use building is going to be going right across the street from where our library is. So that every corner of the city is being affected. This building was just approved a few weeks ago. Beautiful new building. Let's talk about Hanford Boulevard. Hanford Boulevard was in my mind, it was the down payment on the start of the redevelopment and the development of this downtown. And this was the idea and brainchild of a former mayor administration, and I know that Mayor Mishcon is out there somewhere. Mayor, thank you so much for your leadership in establishing this. And with everything that's coming here, the city is now putting, the CRA and the city are putting the necessary investments to keep this where it needs to be and to prepare it for the amount of the folks that are going to be coming here and the new businesses and the people that are going to be living here. So the CRA is doing its part there. Now, let's continue with the cleaner and more beautiful city. Our public works has been integral in the transition and transformation of the city. We talked about making difficult choices, smart choices. One of the ones that we took was this choice to modernize our solid waste services. And we modernized the solid waste services, and we were able to enhance the services to the residents and simultaneously reduce the cost and save money. Now that is huge, and let me tell you a little bit about what we did. Every service that everyone was accustomed to remained the same, except for we doubled the recycling pickups, and we also funded a tripling of our neighborhood maintenance and beautification and litter control teams, okay, which I'm going to get to in just a second. But also, we have now, effective November 12th, we're going to have a collection point for hazardous and toxic materials. So everybody knows, if you've got old paint, old motor oil, old batteries sitting in your garage or somewhere in the backyard, those toxic chemicals will no longer have to sit at your house. Starting November 12th, you'll be able to get rid of them in an environmentally responsible way in our city. We're saving a lot of money with this, which we're putting to good use, but also the vendor on this is providing significant support for the community events in our city and for our code compliance efforts. Let me tell you about what before I tell you about what we did with this savings, one other thing about this. Whoops. Sorry about that, guys. You see those trucks right there? With this move, the city of North Miami Beach became the first municipality in the entire state of Florida to be operating under solid waste a 100% CNG, carbon-free, compressed natural gas fleet. So now, instead of a truck rumbling down the street, spewing a cloud of carbon into the atmosphere, North Miami Beach is the greenest fleet there is in the state of Florida, thanks to this. Our public works team expanded tremendously when we made this decision. We tripled the landscaping and beautification and litter control efforts of the city. And we created a set of teams who are designated in certain areas. So now, rather than litter control and palm frond removal, shopping cart removal, graffiti removal, instead of it being, I don't want to say an afterthought, but instead of it being the stepchild to some of the other tasks that needed to be done, it is now a designated function of the city. And so you should be seeing these teams out there so that if there's graffiti, if there's a shopping cart, whatever it is, it gets taken care of immediately, because every morning those teams are out there in their assigned zones. And as far as quick reaction, nobody beats the city of North Miami Beach. As everybody knows, recently we had a tornado touchdown in the Sky Lake area. This is some of the damage that happened there. Well, because of the resources that we freed up in these teams, these guys were able to be out here and clean up not only the North Miami Beach side of the neighborhood, but they even beat and got cleaned up and assisted with the county jurisdiction side to make sure that the streets were clean and everything for our residents. So that's the kind of outstanding work that they've been doing. Everybody knows 826, right? It's North Miami Beach's main thoroughfare. 167th Street, 163rd Street. Well, you'll be happy to know that you saw that road has been transformed from the west entrance of the city at Interstate 95 all the way to the eastern edge of the city at the Intracoastal. That entire median, which hadn't been dealt with by FDOT in decades, was completely uprooted and replanted, which involved more than just planting trees, but 100,000 feet of irrigation pipe. Let me give you some before and afters. Here's some before of the area right in front of the 163rd Mall. By the way, some of that trash that was pulled out of there, by looking at the cans and the dates, was like 10 years old. Okay? There's the after. Here is a little bit further east in the city, as everything was torn out. New gateway signs, new Canary Island date palms, which Public Works Director Esmond Scott has a great story about those. He treated those like his children coming on a truck from Texas, from wherever they came from. Well, quite a story. The after. These are the transformations. Here's some more befores and afters. This is right in front of the Littman Theater here right now. The crosswalk where our employees cross back and forth 100 times a day. That was it before. This is it after. By the way, that right there, another one of those award-winning projects that was recognized throughout the state. Tremendous, tremendous job by everybody. Snake Creek, the Snake Creek Canal. I mentioned and said excellence is the only option. There's a pump station, normally an afterthought in every city. There's the pump station before and after. Play yard before, exercise station after, bike racks after. Part of our teams working in preparation for the annual Heart Health Walk. This is the kind of stuff that has been freed up to make our city, and that's what's changing the look of our city everywhere we go. By the way, the Snake Creek Canal, another one of those items, the change and the transformation that was recognized in Quality Cities magazine for the entire state of Florida, recognized right there for the work they did. Here's another example. The flowering tree garden before, flowering tree garden afterward, and named in honor of one of our former councilmen. Dolphin Park before, Dolphin Park after. The Ulita neighborhood, for years, had been asking and begging, do something about the traffic at that intersection because people use it as a shortcut to get from Miami Gardens to 163rd or 167th. That was a very dangerous intersection, people speeding through it all the time. Public Works engaged FDOT. There's the before, there's the after. Beautiful traffic calming traffic circle, which is making life much more pleasant and safer for those residents in the Ulita neighborhood. I mentioned before that when we find something, we fix it. Doesn't matter what happened. Okay. This right here, a lot of people don't even realize what happens. When a building is 40 years old, you need to have certain inspections. And then every 10 years afterward, 50 years, 60 years. Our Public Works Director, Esmond Scott, Esmond, I don't know where you are, Esmond. Back there, Esmond Scott. They found out about this. And they took the 9 facilities, and it didn't matter if they needed the 40, the 50, or the 60, they'd had deferments for forever. And they took electrical, structural, roofing, and weatherproof, and they fixed all of those 9 buildings, all in one fell swoop. Outstanding job, guys. You may remember that there was, we had the unfortunate incident of having to shut down 2 pools at one point right before the summer because there were some safety concerns. Back to that 40-year inspection and find it, fix it. Those pools, it hurt to have to shut them down, but it was the right decision to make. That city manager right there had to take some heat from some folks because shutting down a pool right before summer is not exactly the most popular thing to do. But you know what? It was the right thing to do. Those pools have now been completely reopened, and now not only are they better, but they are safe for everybody to enjoy in the community. Our city, for 28 years in a row, has been recognized as Tree City USA. And this is only going to get better with the continued investment that we're putting in here. Let me tell you a little bit about our NMB bus line service. This is a service that we have put into place that a lot of our residents rely on. The bus service, which uses these shuttle buses, used to operate on 5 days for only 35 hours a week. We added 6-day-a-week service. We doubled the hours of service, and coming very soon, instead of riding around in a rental car shuttle bus, you're gonna tool around in NMB in style in one of these. Beautiful trolley, North Miami Beach trolley. Wi-Fi equipped. You can track it with GPS tracking on your smartphone. Again, find a 13-year-old, he'll explain it to you. This is going to be fantastic. I want to say a thank you to Fernando Rodriguez, who spearheaded that project. By the way, that project, that improvement comes at no additional expense. That's using the same dollars that have been put into that fund. So again, more with less. The NMB Library, complete facelift that it got, under the guidance of our head librarian, Adenia Hernandez. Tremendous transformation, not just on the outside, but the service that they're providing to residents, young and old, is unbelievable. And so she has brought an energy there and just created so many programs, it's just unbelievable. And you can also, for those of you that, again, technologically literate, you can check out ebooks through the North Miami Beach Library. So now, let me talk about code compliance 1 minute. This was one of those areas that was kind of broken in the city. There's a lot of stuff that was going on, but the bottom line is it had devolved into this 5-day-a-week operation that was dealing with only 300 cases. That department was 100% revamped from the very top to the very newest inspector. 100% new, 7-day-a-week operation, dealing with your complaints in 24 hours, and they went in productivity from resolving nuisance issues in the city, 300 to 3,000. That's a 10-time increase in the productivity there. And one more thing about this. Let me give you the examples first. Here's some examples of a property before, property after, right? Property before, property after. Property that had been with that kind of issue for a long time, before and after. Our incredible code and compliance team has been out there resolving these problems. And by the way, they now drive, instead of Chevrolet little Chevy sedans, they now drive F-150 pickup trucks. Because now, when they find something thrown in the street, or something that's whatever, instead of having to call it in and send another person out and all this rigmarole, they just pull over, throw it in the back, and it's done. Instant reaction. This is what it takes to make the city cleaner, a cleaner and more beautiful place. I can't begin to say enough about our Parks and Rec department, because our Parks and Rec department does everything from running pools to plays to you name it, they do it. It's amazing. They serve the young, the old. It's just from start to finish outstanding, running 9 major events, citywide events throughout the year. It's tremendous. But here's some examples of some of the things that they do. But let me tell you about a couple of other improvements that we've done. The Hazel Fazino Park is the first new park to be dedicated in the city in 28 years. The Hazel Fazino Park was the former city nursery. Our council was there in unison to break ground on it. This is the old Fazino nursery. And if anybody knows, for years, of course, the nursery sat with a very tall fence around it, with barbed wire on top, and black screening all around. So you really couldn't see what was going on. That nursery served its purpose through its years of spreading beauty throughout the city. But it's time now for that nursery to be converted into a wide-open, passive park for the benefit of the neighbors that live around that area that they'll be able to walk into and enjoy. That's being built right now. Last night, the City Council adopted this right here. It's a Parks and Recreation Master Plan. This is where a roadmap, every single piece of dirt in the city, every single bench, every single ball field, anything that had to do with Parks and Recreation was inventoried and studied, and we had numerous workshops to figure out and communications with the community to figure out what to do and when to do it to our parks, so we can do this in an organized fashion and get grants and be able to really bring our parks to serve the next generation. That was passed last night. Now, just because we have a strategic plan doesn't mean that we are not opportunistic or thinking. We were brought an opportunity, and we seized it and we jumped on it. Boca Juniors, internationally renowned soccer club, came to us and said, we would like to create an internationally acclaimed soccer academy on the old empty parking lot by Mishkan Field. We seized it. Ground was broken. They opened up, and that program is serving almost 400 kids in the community, teaching them world-class level soccer. We like to joke and say that that's the kick that kicked NMB Sports into the future. Now, just to give you an idea of what happens in one of these strategic planning sessions for a park, this is the Mishkan Park Complex, Challenger Park Complex, and everything. This is re-envisioned like this to enhance the usability and make it easier for people to come into the park, but also, for the first time, all of these parks and facilities are going to be designed ADA compliant so that our residents with disabilities can also access every single one of our parks. So that's another tremendous hit that's coming. Taylor Park. This is one that's near and dear to my heart because my 20-year-old son, who's back here or somewhere over here, when he was, I think, 7 years old, played on that field for the last time that it was a ball field. That park has been closed for over a decade because of environmental issues and other issues. We have finally been able to secure not only the permission to fix it, the funding and the cooperation from Dade County to fix Taylor Park from this overgrown mess that it is now, and to return it to the glory days where kids will once again be playing ball and soccer and everything on Taylor Park. So that's a tremendous success story that's coming. Let me talk a little bit about a safer city. This is, all the changes that we make in the city change the environment, improves security and safety. There's a lot of that. But I cannot go and say enough about how hard our men and women in uniform in the police department have worked to continue to bring the crime numbers down and keep all of our businesses and our residents safe. For the first time in a decade, thanks to the leadership of Police Chief Hernandez and his command staff, North Miami Beach Police Department is fully staffed once again. You can see the numbers, and as everybody knows, we've been through some challenges through the years recently with achieving this. Not only is the department fully staffed, but we've made sure that the chief has the budget funds to provide the tools for the men and women of the department to do what they need to do. It's been a long time since new vehicles have been purchased. 41 new vehicles have been purchased in the last, I think, 23 months, replacing a very aging fleet and turning it into one of the newest fleets in Dade County by what we've done there. Something that I am really, really happy that we have, and I'm very thankful for, is that the city and the police union have reached a new agreement, and this agreement is a fair deal for everybody involved. It sets a stable framework for the chief and the command staff to be able to grow the department properly into the future. It's something that was unanimously approved by the city council, and it's something that was overwhelmingly approved by the rank and file of the men and women of the police department. And I want to say on this one here, this was not an easy deal to get done, okay? But I want to say thank you, Chief, thank you, Detective Romero and the members of the IUPA union, because it was a tough negotiation, but the right decisions in the end were made for the good of the city and the department, and I'm very, very happy to say that is now set. By the way, let me brag on the police department one more time on this. This is the 16th annual LEO Awards. The LEO Awards is the Law Enforcement Officer Awards. It's basically the Academy Awards of law enforcement in Dade County. Now, in this picture, you're going to see several of our officers here, okay? But let me tell you one thing. The city of North Miami Beach is basically 2% of the population of Dade County. 2%, okay? When it came to Officer of the Year, what they do is they take Officer of the Month. There's 12 Officers of the Month. Your police department, representing just 2% of the population of Dade County, took away 2 out of the 12 Officer of the Month nominations. Detective Lino Diaz and Sergeant Alex Morales, 2 outstanding public servants, 2 outstanding police officers. 2 out of 12 North Miami Beach Police Department. And the actual winner in the Support Services Award was Specialist Nicole Camacho, took home first prize for the Support Services Award. This all from your NMB Police Department. Let me talk a little bit about NMB Water. Keeping the community safe and policing is important. This right here is a very important thing too, because this is the water that people drink. We are one of the largest utilities in all of Dade County. We serve not just our city, but a lot of areas around us. For the first time in 37 years, the city of North Miami Beach Water Department utilities are conducting a strategic master plan which is going to inventory every piece of pipe, every pump, and every valve that's in the ground in the entire service area, which, by the way, adds up to over $1 billion of infrastructure buried in the ground. Now, we're going to finally get a handle on that situation for our capital improvement plans. Another thing, we finally changed out all of the old water meters that we have to electronic water meters. People say, what's the big deal? I'll tell you what the big deal is. every single day we would get a phone call here with somebody who would say, oh my God, I got a $1,000 water bill. What the heck happened? And of course they had a leak, a running toilet, something that happened, and they don't find out about it for 3 months because that's the way the billing worked. Well now, thanks to these electronic meters, if you have that leak or you have that problem in your home, our people in customer service are alerted right away. They get in touch with you. They help you solve the problem before it turns into a disaster for our residents. So that is a huge thing. Our NMB, here's another award. Just another award, right? Another award, award-winning. Great job. I want to close, and I want to leave you with these thoughts. Government done right. I mentioned it earlier. We have to make sure that we provide a cleaner, safer, more beautiful city. We're working on education, improving the educational options to our residents. We've got all these irons in the fire, all these things. But you know what? Something that's vitally important is that, and what I hope that we will have as a legacy here of this city council is this right here, government done right, okay? A government of a 90-year-old city, okay, that has, you know, a 90-year-old city is a 90-year-old city. A lot of things have been done a certain way or whatever. By the way, everybody make sure to come out October 1st to celebrate our 90th, okay? Put that in your calendar. Ask a 13-year-old to put it in your phone. But this legacy of good government is what will carry us into the future. We need to channel the political influence, because political influences can be helpful or can be destructive. We're channeling the political influence. We are now a united council that gives a single vision of direction to the administration. So it's not several people pulling in 50 different directions. There is one vision, one set of marching orders, and that's why you see the results that you see out there today. Finally, governing versus politics. There's a time for politics, obviously. Time of elections, it's politics. But when the elections are over, it's time to get down to the business of governing and making the right decisions for the greater good, the 43,000 residents of the city of North Miami Beach. If we follow this roadmap right here, okay, we will capitalize on the city's success and we will keep it moving. And let me just close you with this. You all recognize this from earlier, policy agenda and the action items. Every single one of these items is checked off. And that's what I call success. And that's the good news story of the city of North Miami Beach and the transformation of the city of North Miami Beach. I must tell you that this would not be possible without the support of an outstanding city council. That we might argue over some policy, but at the end of the day, when we make a decision, we're united in the direction we're going to walk. So I want to say thank you and recognize my council colleagues. And first, I want to recognize Vice Mayor Franz Pierre. I want to recognize Councilwoman Marlon Martel, who's in Washington, D.C. right now. Councilman Anthony DiFilippo. Tony, stand up and wave. Councilwoman Phyllis Smith. Councilwoman Beth Spiegel. And Councilwoman Barbara Kramer. Stand up, Barbara. Stand up, Barbara. I also want to say thank you. I've got to thank everybody on the administrative side, starting with our city manager, Anna Garcia. Anna, please stand. Let me tell you something. These folks, this is not an easy job. Where is my city attorney, Jose Smith? Mr. Smith, please stand up. Outstanding job in the legal department. Where's Pamela Latimer, my city clerk? Pamela, please stand up. And thank you guys, because you know what? Together, You guys are the leadership that makes this team. And this team is on a winning streak that's going to continue steadily into the future. I am so proud to be part of this team. And I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you. I want to say thank you to my family. My wife, Sandy. My son, Alex, who's back here. My son, Antonio, who's over here. Thank you guys for the sacrifices that you make for allowing me to serve the public in this capacity, because I know it's a lot of time away from home, and I want to say thank you for that. And one more that I want to say thank you is that we do have some candidates that are running for a judge, either for judge or for re-election, and I can't tell where everybody is. I didn't have the list. I saw a few of you out there. If you're one of our judges or that's candidates, please stand up a second so everybody can see you. I see one. I'm sorry, guys. It's a little dark, so I can't make everybody out, but we'll keep you guys standing for the next hour, and everybody will come around. Okay. With that said, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for coming out tonight. Thank you for being here. Thank you for participating. Good night, and God bless the city of North Miami Beach. Thank you.